Welcome to This Day Live, the Sunday talk show where we discuss all things political, local, national, continental, and global in a fair and balanced manner. I am Rueben, Abati. My name is Rueben Abati, your host for This Day Live, the Sunday talk show. And with me, as usual, of course, is Dele Momodu, former presidential candidate and a noted columnist. And then today we have joining us a new face on this program, Yemi Adamolekun. Yemi is Executive Director, Enough is Enough, Nigeria. Yemi, you're welcome to this program. We also have Olaleye, who has been on this program previously, Deputy Editor at This Day and a political journalist. You are all welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now we go straight to the first issue of the day, which is the week that was. And Wale, you have done this for us
time and time again.
Yes. So what has been happening in Nigeria and also internationally? Can you give us a rundown? Then we go from there.
Yes, a few things happened last week, and locally and internationally. But interestingly, back home here, we had the week climax with the return of the president, and that literally consumed every other news for the week. Of course, internationally, there was mudslide in Sierra Leone and Congo, and the president of Rwanda was sworn in for the third time in office. And also, the White House has continued to be in turmoil as usual, with Steve Bannon being fired. You know, that would be like every week in and out, you had something happening, something new, somebody being fired in the White House.
Well, and that, you know, a lot of persons are discerning President Trump.
And then sadly, too, in Spain, there was an attack that claimed 14 people, terrorist attack, and then that, of course, in a nutshell, wrapped up last week.
Well, there was also a knife attack in Finland.
Yes,
and we've been having various cases of terrorism across Europe. And in the last 1 year alone, close to about 130 persons have been killed across Europe.
Attacked a few times, in France and a few other countries.
But, I mean, out of all of this, President Buhari's return seems to have gotten Nigerians really excited.
And consumed every other news.
Yes. Well, I mean, Yemi, you didn't join our Momodu don't do movement.
Quite strangely.
Some people are saying that led to the president's return.
Well, it's an interesting timing. So you had two religious leaders go and pay a visit, the Archbishop of Canterbury and the General Overseer of RCC. So a British one and a Nigerian one, good balance. So both of them showed up to pay him courtesy calls. And then over the last, 2 weeks, you had a slew of APC chieftains, if I want to use that word, and then the Governors Forum. And then the most recent were both the Senate President and the Speaker of the House. So it's been quite a build-up to the and then his media team went with the big get well soon card, or we miss you card. I don't even know what he said.
Get well soon.
Get well soon, thank you. So it's been quite an interesting last 2 weeks for him. And then suddenly, in 24 hours, we hear that he's coming back. So it's been very interesting. And then, of course, the protests, as you mentioned. So there were protests in Abuja. Then they started when Abuja became a bit too hot, was moved to Lagos, picked up in New York, and picked up in London as well. So it's been interesting.
I think the London one was very effective.
Pushing him out.
Because it was right in front of his window.
Well, I mean, some people have said that the people who organized the protests in London drove him out of London, forced the doctors to take a quick decision so that the president could return home. But of course, his handlers have said that is not true. You know.
I reckon.
It was getting very, very chaotic and very embarrassing. Because they were right at his gate and they were screaming in the middle of the night, not even during the day. I mean,
really, sir, technically, if that's the case, he could have moved to a hotel for a week. You know what? If it wasn't time to come back, I know different.
That's not where they won't feast on that.
Yes,
literally, yes.
That's if you know where he is.
I disagree.
Abuja House is clear to know where he is. And then look, it's the UK. There are many castles. They could have gone. I mean, they could have gone anywhere.
Somebody would.
They will be at the gate somewhere.
And then it got to a point. I mean, the CNN had begun to mock the president.
But the most important thing, Ruben, is that we're happy our
back.
president is back. We have our president back.
You're happy?
And
But
it
it
was
looks
his
like-
old self, you know,
you think so?
with his
It looked-
clenched fist.
Clenched fist, but
the man is recovering, is recuperating. So we should thank God for his life.
And then what?
Many people said he was dead.
Yeah, but we knew he's alive. We've done proof of life for the last 3 weeks. There was the prof went to see him. Excuse me, the acting president went to see him. Then you had all the series of visitors. So we've debunked dead
As
for a while.
Nigerians, I mean, are you not concerned?
No, that's why I'm even going. We've debunked dead.
No,
He's
no,
alive.
no, you didn't.
Are
let
you
him
not
finish.
concerned that the president's illness seems to have divided the country almost right down the middle? Just as you had the people who were saying the president should resume or resign, you also had this other group supported by the state, supported by the police, encouraged by the state. And the whole thing degenerated into some kind of ethnic conflict with Charlie Boy, the leader of the Momodu, where our foolishness is enough group, you know,
so to speak,
you know, being attacked, and also Igbos and Northerners exchanging, you know, brickbats and all of that.
But
Should
it
it get to this stage?
It's happened before during the Jonathan when the Yaradua cabal, you know, took over, and that is where Yemi came in, and a few of us joined hands with them at the time.
Who was ill? Was it Jonathan?
It was Yaradua who was ill. I mean, and we were there, you know, to lay down the principle that whenever the president is absent, he should hand over to his deputy. And that is why, despite the long absence of President Buhari, and everything was going smoothly. And
I'm going to take you up on that, though. How long is too long? So, yes, he handed over. He followed the constitution, which Yar'Adua didn't do. Fine, so we'll give him that. He did that right. But how long is too long? For this year, he's out of, I think, by Friday was some odd 237 days in the year. President Buhari had been out of the country for about 155 of those days, almost 60-something odd %. So how long is too long?
so how come Enough is Enough did not take him up this time?
On that.
It was a process. No, but it was a process. I mean, we've done a series of advertorials under the title "Absentee President," and our approach this time was really to have a conversation. As you said, Yar'Adua's zone was very clear because there was no formal handover, and it was like, look, this has happened. The president is sick. Let Jonathan step in.
Maybe you are raising
long
moral
is too
questions.
long?
The
Moral
Constitution
question,
does
yes.
not say specifically that the president cannot be away even for the whole of the 4 years.
No, that's the question.
So
how
it's
long
basically
is too
a
long?
moral debate at this point. It's basically a moral debate.
Moral debate.
how long is too long?
No. Nigerians elected a team, a president and a vice president. At the point where the Constitution doesn't say how long the president can be away, but the Constitution does say raise issues about incapacitation. So if you are away, if you're away for 2 years from a job you ran for, nobody forced you. You are the one that said, I am ready and fit. I want to lead Nigerians. You now get in there and decide that you want to take a 2-year break. Well, there's a problem with that. And it's not a moral issue.
No.
Okay, you have an employee who decides they want to be on sick leave for 2 years. Will you now halt what you're doing and leave whatever the responsibility is? And don't tell me you handed over. We elected 2 people. Now that acting VP became acting president, 1 slot is missing.
No, I raised the moral point. I raised the moral
in
point.
my organization somebody is indispensable? Is that what you mean?
That's what you're saying, that if you can just go.
No,
then-
that's what you were saying, technically.
No, I
That's
raised the
what,
moral point because, well, maybe you don't call it more, or you don't talk about morality, maybe principle. Because when the case, we had a similar case with President Yar'Adua.
Yes.
President Buhari was on record as having recommended that President Yar'Adua should resign if he could no longer do the job. So people now are saying, if you could say that, then it means that you took a
No,
principled
in the case of
position.
Yar'Adua, it was clearly incapacitated. There was no debating that. But that is not the case with Buhari.
Oh, you are a medical doctor. You have determined that.
The Buhari we
you
have
have
seen
followed
in
the process.
No.
Yeah, I do understand. There was no proof of
Constitution-
life.
Bob D
There
is
was no
Buhari
proof of life.
incapacitated. I do not think
The
so.
Constitution defines
I do not think so.
incapacitation.
There was no proof of life.
Don't be an armchair medical doctor. Okay?
This president that we saw yesterday has never been incapacitated for the period he's been away.
Oh, you are determining
Yeah, sure.
his well-being on the basis of television visuals.
Absolutely.
However, the president is, we have been told, going to address Nigerians on
Tomorrow,
Monday.
yes, 7 a.m.
7
I should be
a.m.
sleeping by
And
then.
all Nigerians and even the international community, we are all looking forward to that. What do you imagine that the president is likely to say?
Thank us
What
for
do you
our-
expect him to
Thank us
say?
for our prayers.
What would you like to hear from him?
Well, there are all kinds of speculations.
Okay.
One of them, which I believe is mere wishful thinking, is that he's going to resign
no.
and hand over to Oshibajo.
think so.
I don't
Yeah,
think
I
that
don't
will
think
happen.
so. It
Even if it was planned before, after the popularity test yesterday and the huge crowd that came out with adulations,
I didn't think
that
the
is
crowd
not going
was
to happen.
organized too. I don't, that crowd wasn't organized.
No.
It
It was
natural.
spontaneous.
Genuine, yeah,
If
spontaneous,
a man
yeah.
has been away for a long, is it one thing you must give to Nigerians is that we're very humane.
But you are a politician. And you've been in politics, and you know that these things can be
No,
organized.
it can be organized.
In Nigeria, these things
It can be.
and
But in
you
this
can
last-
have the effect of spontaneity,
Yeah.
you know, to create an impression. And under these circumstances, that may have been the case because we're dealing with politics and power.
I can tell you
And survival.
that the
also
fact that
speaking
we're
from
all
experience.
talking about
Yeah,
it,
Both of them are
He's also
speaking
speaking from experience.
no, the fact that we're talking about it
You're
here,
trying to attack me.
no,
It's just stating the facts.
nobody will attract.
Facts only.
We won't attract our moderator. You have the power to stop us.
But,
When you do that.
I honestly,
I'm not saying I know how these things
I
work.
think, sir, tomorrow I think the president owes it to us as a people to explain to us the nature of his ailment. I think on the grounds of honor and integrity, he should do that. Of all things, I think we have a right to know as a people.
Anyway, you hold it there. We'll still come back to this subject and talk about what the president is likely to tell both Nigerians and the international community. We'll be right back.